afternoon. So I've got a couple more Atlas fighters for you. In fact, two P38 Lightnings. Two Lightnings, in fact, of the two highest scoring aces from the American side anyhow in World War II, both from the Pacific. So on the left, you've got Major Thomas McGuire in Pudgy 5, which is a P38J Lightning. For those who've got the Corgi Warbirds range, you might have seen Pudgy 4. Which is also a famous aircraft. He was one of 5 Pudgies over his career, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And to the right, we have the #1 ace in the Pacific, and that's Major Richard Bong. And this is one of his other aircraft, which is downbeat, but he's more famed for having a P38 by the name of Marge, again, which is made by Corgi and available to buy. So I'm going to do a little bit of a pictorial review and a little bit of a walk round, and I'll talk a little bit about the pilots and their aircraft, and we'll start off with Pudgy 5. The first P38 out of the box is the aircraft of Pudgy 5 from Major Thomas Buchanan McGuire. He was the second highest scoring ace behind Major Richard Bong, with 38 kills in the Pacific Theatre. So, Buchanan had 5 different P38s in his time spent in the Pacific, all named through from Pudgy to Pudgy 5. Pudgy was named after his wife Marilyn. I'm sure that's not a particularly nice nickname to give her, but nonetheless he honoured her with naming his 5 aircraft after her. He was only ever shot down in Pudgy 4. All the rest of the Pudgies were either lost by other pilots, or in Pudgy 5's case, wasn't lost at all. He managed to lose his life in January 1945 whilst being chased by 70 fighters. He pulled off an evasive manoeuvre at 300 feet and managed to stall his aircraft and ploughed into the ground. Eyewitnesses said if he'd managed to jettison his drop tanks, he may well have pulled out of it, as he was pretty much on the way of pulling out of it as he went in. But in terms of Pudgy 4, that is available through Corgi. So I've put a picture of the Corgi Warbirds one up. And also by Gemini Aces, a really, really difficult one to find. The next aircraft with the green spinners is that of Major Richard Bong, who was the #1 ace for the United States Army Air Force in the Pacific, with 40 kills, an incredible 40 kills. So this aircraft isn't really his main aircraft. He was more renowned for his other aircraft, which was Marge. I've attached a picture later on, as Corgi have already made this in 1/72 scale. It's one of the more popular P38s out there. So as I said, Bong managed to get 40 kills during his time in the Pacific, and he returned to California in the middle of 1945. Unfortunately, he died testing a P-80A jet. Unfortunately, the fuel tank failed on takeoff. Although he ejected, his parachute didn't open quick enough. I've also attached a picture of both of the pilots together in November 1944. They had an incredible rivalry, and it was obviously very, very close. Some say that actually McGuire may well have gone on to beat Bong's total of 40 if it weren't for some periods of quite bad illness, and obviously a time commanding the squadron and being tied down for a lot of administrative duties. So, a little bit about the Atlas range. As you know, I've talked about this a little bit before. When I initially started off, they were at Oxford mould, no undercarriage on a quite cumbersome stand. They've then bought the IXO mould at some point a few years ago, and they've refurbished the aircraft sort of a la Solido, I think is probably the best way to put it. So if we have a little bit of a detailed look. Curiously, for some reason in the packet, you've got an up undercarriage for the front undercarriage, but none for the left and right, which is really, really strange. So you will have to display it, if ideally probably with wheels down, otherwise it just look a little bit strange on the stand. So again, the props will come off, as do the wheels and the sort of the wheel doors underneath, which is one fitting apart from the middle bit. So anybody who's got the Corgi one will know it's quite fiddly to get both the doors on the undercarriage. It's not the greatest undercarriage, I don't know if you can see underneath there. And it's a bit of a tail sitter, but it's quite nice unless, I mean, the other bit I would really pick up on is the cannons in the nose are way too long. Like someone stuck some broomsticks in there. But colour scheme's nice, the overall finish is lovely. Again, I'm not convinced about the way the Pudgy is spelt on there. Maybe right. Pudgy 4 had full red propellers. I've done a little bit of research, can't seem to find much about Pudgy 5. But again, quite a good looking aircraft, and for 15 quid delivered, it's an absolute bargain. Just take you over to the downbeat one. Have a little bit of a look around again at a tail sitter, which is a bit of a pain, but a good finish on it. Again, as the cannons are probably a bit more easy to see on that with the silver finish on the front. So there you go. But no, look, if you're starting the collection and you haven't got a P38 Lightning, this is a pretty decent one to get. It's a nice little scheme. Obviously there's a few more out there. Warmaster do Putt Putt Maru, which I've got, which is a very similar scheme to Pudgy from the same squadron. Plus on the IXO side you've got a D-Day bird, and there's an all green one as well, which is a Pacific one, which is quite nice looking as well. All the same mould, all the same finish, same undercarriage and etal. So there we go. Just thought we'd give you a little bit of a walk around as ever. Please give the page a like on Facebook if you've not been on there, and the YouTube channel, all under the name Corgi Diecast Aviation. I'm going to try and do a Q&A with Sonny from Forces of Valour. So Forces of Valour, for those who don't know, are owned by a company called Watersons. They were recently taken over, when I say recently, within the last couple of years, and they're refurbishing all the aircraft moulds. So they've already brought out the Chinook, which has gone, or Chinook, whatever you want to call it, which has gone down really, really well by diecast lovers, and hopefully we'll see some World War II and jet aircraft over the coming months. So if you've got any questions you'd like me to ask Sonny, please just tag them on the bottom of the video here, either on Facebook or on Instagram or YouTube. I'll see if I can put something together for him, and we'll go from there. And yeah, have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon.